am now a farmer, yes, and utterly exhausted as a result.
So, hold on, this isn't just a hobby on the side, this is something you're
pursuing? It's a proper farm. It's a full-on farm. And the guy who'd run it for many years, he retired. And I thought, well, how hard can it be?
Yeah.
You put seeds in the ground and then weather happens and food grows and then you eat it and it's fine.
Yeah.
Or you sell it. It's unbelievably difficult. And at any given moment, I know a bit of machinery is going to cut one of my arms off. Because if you ever looked at the back of a tractor, it's just lots of different ways for removing an arm. Have you ever tried to round up a field of sheep?
What do you think?
And they're vindictive.
Sheep aren't vindictive.
They are. There they are. Look, they're my sheep. They're actually my sheep on the screen.
Have you given them earrings? They look like kind of like hipster sheep.
Yeah, they are hipster sheep, and they're sneering. Right. Because what you do is you spend... I'm not kidding. Got up the other morning and they escape. They always escape. And so you've got to get them back into their field. 2 hours of solid running around on my own. I don't have a dog. I tried using a drone. I had a drone and I fitted a speaker on it that barked. Okay. And flew it around. And they just stand there now looking at it going, why is that idiot flying this drone? And they don't move. So 2 hours I ran around utterly exhausted. Okay. Got them back in the field. Oh, the electric fence has gone down. I'll just redo it so it covers up this hole in the wall. And then thought, oh, Christ, the battery for the electric fence is flat. I'm going to have to go back and get another one. You go back to get another one. When I got back, they were all back in the field I'd just got them from. 2 more hours of running around, get them back in, and I got the new battery on. And as I was attaching it, they jumped over another bit of wall and got back in the field. They just stand there going, what are you going to do about it? I cannot wait to eat them.
So... I mean, that's the happy ending to the story for you.
A shepherd's pie, because I've accidentally grown 30 tons of potatoes.
Accidentally?
Well, it was a bet. Somebody said, you can't grow potatoes in this part of the country, so I planted them, and I got 30 tons. Wow. So if anyone needs a potato...
You know, you say that now, you know a lot of people are going to stop you in the street asking for free potatoes.
They can have them.
Yeah.
No, well, who said free? Who said free?
You know, let's go back to you eating the sheep, though. Mm. Because I know...
Well, it'd be mutton.
Well, a lot of this is, you know, that you put on a certain blustering front. Yeah. But I know that you're actually quite an emotional man underneath. And I suspect that you have grown attached to some of these sheep. Are you not going to find it difficult to finish them off for a pie?
No, I genuinely am. And that's not a word of a lie. There are 3 of them. They can't get pregnant because if they did, they'd produce milk and they'd be unable to deliver that milk and they'd explode. Right. That's not quite what the vet said, but it's what I thought. So they're standing in a field watching the other 100 or so having a really good time getting pregnant. These 2 rams. And these rams just go around, and I've called them Wayne Rooney and Leonardo DiCaprio. So older sheep and the younger sheep are both being attended to equally. Anyway, so they're busy. And then these 3 sheep, they're standing there and watching this massive sexual activity going on in the next field.
Like a big swingers field?
Yeah, it's a huge swingers field, and they're like watching. Yeah. And they just have to stand there while I discuss the recipe for the mutton pie.
I mean, you don't have to discuss it then and there. Also, why are you watching all the sheep shagging? What's wrong with you? I mean, I understand why the sheep are watching. They're stuck in the field. You could be indoors talking about your pie. You don't have to be out there voyeurising on a bunch of sheep.
If you turn your back on them for a minute, they're out of the field again. So you have to watch them, whatever it is they do.
Well, let me ask you another question, because recently I read, and I don't know if it's true, that I read that you were standing, or thinking of standing, as an MP.
That's Google shunting, Jonathan.
I beg your pardon?
Google shunting.
OK, what's that mean?
It means that when somebody writes a story in a newspaper that you don't much care for, you just think, I'd rather that wasn't sitting at the top of Google, so everybody put my name in. Yeah, you've been there, we've all...
Stop saying that, will you? I've moved on.
I'm moving on, but if that happens, so a newspaper writes it all sits at the top of Google, so you need to come up with something more modern, something more fresh. Yeah. And so I will then go on Twitter and say, I'm thinking of standing as an MP against Ed Miliband. All the newspapers run around, print stories, and suddenly the story you don't want sitting there is shunted way down onto page 43, and then your story that you don't mind having there it's absolutely rubbish. Of course I'm not going to stand it.
But you see, I bet you when Nigel Farage read that, he thought, I've got some serious competition. What do you make of those guys? Would you, if they said to you, because I imagine if you draw circles of demographic interest, I imagine a lot of their fans would think, Clarkson is our man.
Yes,
they don't always know you're joking.
There's a slight problem, is I'm massively pro-European.
All right.
So it becomes rather difficult to support a party that wants primarily to get you out of Europe when all I want to do is stay in Europe.
You love Europe?
I really love being
Just because you like the speed limits?
No, I like Italian speed limits a lot.
What's the speed limit in Italy?
There isn't one.
Wow.
Well, there is.
Okay,
there is, but nobody knows what it is. We were filming there this year, and
what do you mean no one knows what it is?
I said to the policeman, "What's the speed limit?" Anyway, he's. That was his. The speed cameras all the way down. He said, "No, but they are all broken." How do you think we go there such a lot? God's race.
OK, let me ask you then, because I think you're a very funny writer, and I always enjoy your shows. Why would you do that?
I thought you said wanker.
Yeah.
I did. I thought, why did you just say wanker?
So here's some of the things you said about other countries. And I've actually weeded out the worst ones. All right? Greece. Can you remember what you said about Greece? Do you like Greece?
A bit dusty.
OK. Greece is a toilet, said Jeremy.
I never said... That's not... Did you get that from Wikipedia?
No.
A billion facts, all of them wrong.
I don't even want to start on France, because you've always said...
France. I go on holiday every year in France.
Spain. Spain. Don't you think the paella is just rice with a bin bag emptied in it?
Don't clap that! You're just encouraging.
No, but
you went on to say, I look at my bin at the end of the week, and that's basically paella.
It is. But you actually put your bin back and there's some prawn shells, a little bit of the last night's curry, and you go, that's no different. Because I don't get it. This is not a Spanish thing, it's just when you have paella, there always seem to be empty shells. You know, there's always some mussel shells, but there's no actual mussels in them. And prawn shells, and it's just whatever it is that prawns have here, you get that in paella, but not the actual delicious bit that you used to get in Burney Inns with a bit of lettuce in Thousand Island.
There you go. Well, look, let me show you a clip. This is from the new Top Gear DVD. This is Jeremy enjoying himself. This is Perfect Road Trip 2.
Germany's?
I said enjoying. What's wrong with you?
I'm profoundly deaf.
No,
wait.
What did I say?
I have a disability and you're mocking it. I am profoundly deaf, and...
Are you actually deaf?
No, genuinely, I've had a medical.
Well, how did you just hear that?
I can hear bits. If you speak clearly, I can hear you.
You're profoundly dishonest, is what you are. And you don't get a parking space for that.
I could have a parking space.
I saw this picture, because you're still close with both of those guys, of course. I know you tease them, but this picture here, where were you filming here? Look at this picture here with the high-vis jackets on. Where were you filming there?
Oh, look at that.
God alone knows. I'm going to say Detroit, although just because honestly, it will have been somewhere where they told us to wear safety clothing. Well, will have gone over the top.
That's what I thought, but that isn't actually you.
It's not you.
No.
No.
That's why I don't remember.
That's an elderly man, an elderly woman, and another man that were filmed, and they're in Wales somewhere, I believe.
Oh, my eyes don't work. That's hilarious. That actually... No, I can...
I thought we were going to find out.
Well, at least you know what you're going to look like in about 20 years.
It's amazing.
It's going to be a woman. Or is it James? James is going to... He is a woman. That's brilliant.
Have you met before?
We did. In Moscow.
Wow.
At a bar. I was just sitting with a group of people and I turned around and he was just standing there and this golden sting. And then it was. And you were all by yourself. I don't know why you were in a bar in Moscow all by yourself.
Because he works part-time as an assassin.
It's one of those bizarre ones, yeah.
And are you a fan of Jeremy? Do you watch Jeremy's shows?
Yeah, no.
You have to love that honesty, ladies and gentlemen.
Never in the country, Jeremy.
Okay. How is life on the farm?
It's busy, if I'm honest. It's a really busy way of passing the time, farming.
Isn't it strange how... I mean, I don't mean this is funny, but it's so popular, that show. And who would have thought that we would now think of you primarily as a farm figure?
Well, I'm not a farmer.
You're not
I'm very much a trainee farmer.
But you're a farm owner?
Yeah, I've got the farm and I work on it every day. I've been on it all day today. With the cows. I've got cows now. Because I was told cows would be easier than the sheep I bought last year.
So why were the sheep difficult? Is it because you got
The sheep are just belligerent, and they want to die. But they don't want to die in a way that you'd consider, like, normally, just keel over. Sheep, they will look at a fence and think, I'll put my head in that and cut it off. So that is a sheep slot, whereas a cow, as I'm discovering now, just plots its escape.
Well, cows are clever. Cows are intelligent animals.
I caught one of them this morning with a train timetables from the
Am I right in thinking you had an accident on the farm recently?
I've had many accidents. So the cows had got out, they'd knocked a fence over, and you can go and get something called a man killer, which is a great big fence knocker, and bash it, and it's exhausting. And so I've got this thing called a telehandler. It's like a JCB thing. And I'll just use its front to push the post in. And I actually got Caleb to go in it. And it got it halfway into the ground, and the fence was leaning on it, and it flicked back. How it didn't take my bloody leg off.
Wow.
I mean, I didn't walk properly for a week.
So it caught you, though?
Oh, this was a, quarter of a ton of fence posts.
How is Caleb? He's the real star of the show. How's Caleb getting on?
He's brilliant. You know, he's only 23, and
Is he only 23?
He's only 23. He's entrepreneurial, is how I describe him. So we've got this farm shop now. We've had to mow a field near it so people can park there, and it's really a mud bath. It's like, Sam Mendes could make the 1917 in it. It's really bad. And Caleb now goes up and charges people £15 to tow their cars out with his... Caleb, you can't do that. They're our customers. Well, they're not my customers.
So the new Grand Tour is called Seaman because you're a man at sea.
No.
That's what it's called?
It's not. It's called a Grand Tour production of Seaman.
OK. And you know what? The relationship, it's so I so love seeing the relationship between the three of you.
The bubbling hatred.
Yeah, it's not that at all.
Simmering.
It's not that at all.
In your mind, it's something different, isn't it?
No, it's not. I don't think it's... There's no homo. What else isn't there? Take a look at the three of you. There's no way anyone can do that. So, what was the best and what was the worst part of this journey? Because it's something that you obviously clearly wanted to do. Were the others reluctant, or were they keen to go along with you and fulfil this?
No, they hate boats, which made me enjoy it even more, knowing that they would be miserable. But there was a moment when we were just arriving in Phnom Penh, and I love Cambodia, and I love the food, and I just like being in that neck of the woods. And it was a beautiful day. It shouldn't have been, but it was a beautiful day. And the river was wide and open, and I put Creedence on, Fortunate Son.
Creedence Clearwater
Revival.
For the older folk out there, for the younger folk who don't know what he's talking about. You can't just say, I put Creedence on and expect anyone under the age of 50 to know what he's talking about.
Listen, this is television, only the over 50s watch it.
Yeah.
And just hammered the engines. And I was down at 40 knots going into Phnom Penh with Creedence Clearwater Revival playing. And I just thought, wow, this is just epic.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how thrilled are you that Top Gear is nowhere near as successful now that you're not on it?
It's a hard face to pull, this one. Let me try.
Because the other guys are always very generous and always saying...
Yeah, James and Richard always say, no, it's a shame. We wish them all the best. I don't. No, I do.
You've been working, what, for 17, 18 years?
Yeah, I've been working together that
17 years?
Yeah, but we're carrying on. I mean, we're filming the next special to start, so we're off to Vietnam. So I've let that out of the bag.
Do you think ahead and think, OK, there will come a time... What's your plan going forward? How much longer do you think you'll do this for? And how will you prepare for the massive hole in your life, emotionally?
What, when I don't have James May in it?
Yes.
Well, you can come to the party.
I know. I tell you what. I think what's lovely about the show is there's a bond, and I would call it love between the three of you.
Hate?
No. You're uncomfortable with this, but it's true. I think there's a very pure and very lovely relationship of three men, and it's obviously not sexual, but three men who genuinely love each other.
I do like their company when I'm at work.
Why don't you just admit that you love them?
Because that would be ridiculous.
But you do, though. I think you love them. One day you'll come on here and you will admit and say, you know what, you will
I'm a raving gay.
No, it's got nothing to do with sex. I mean, if you wanted to...
The thing is, what's happening here is you're trying to drive a story out of me.
No, I'm not.
I
think it's a beautiful thing, and I think it would be nice if you could celebrate that and we could enjoy it with you.
Yeah, no, we are deeply in love with each other.
I'm not saying that. He's missing the point. Isn't he missing the point? He's missing the point deliberately. We're deliberately missing the point, Clarkson.
I was distracted by how your hair hasn't gone grey.
Well, it's going a bit grey on the sides there.
What,
now.
where you haven't dyed it? You look like it's got Ken hair, Lego.
It's real hair. It's my own hair. It's not dyed.